pandemonium. Use my fangs to murder ya. Yo soy la diosa, los demonios no me controlan. Soy culebra.
What's up, everyone? 7 Octoberz here with another episode of Nightmare on Sedgwick Avenue. And today is episode 15. This is season 5. I've been having a lot of dope guests. Shout out to all the people that I've had this season. And today is no different. The next guest that I'm going to have on today, I met him at the San Diego Latino Film Festival here in San Diego, where I'm from. And it was my first time volunteering, and I volunteered for the media. So it was pretty cool. I got to be part of the red carpet, so getting to see all the actors, directors, pretty much all the creatives there, and follow along with the hosts that were doing the interviews. And shout out to Jordan and Joanna, who were the ones that were doing the interviews at the SD Latino Film Festival. And shout out to the Latino Film Festival as well for all the connections that I made that day. But I met a really dope director. His name is Manny Baeza. He's from Imperial County. And yeah, he has a really dope horror short called Bitter Murmur that we're going to get into in a second. But let me bring him on. Hey, Manny, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you again, because I know you said it's been busy for you. It's been busy probably for everybody here as well, because I've been having a crazy ass month already, and we're in May. So when you guys are watching this, it's probably going to be like July, August. But thank you for joining me. And just
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And just to get started, like for those that might not know you, if you don't mind, like talking about a little bit of how you got into, like filmmaking, and how you ended up, at the Latino Film Festival.
Well, I started filmmaking kind of like when I was a kid. I just it was like around like when I was like 14. Like I had my parents had a video camera, like one of those old school VHS ones, and I used to make little like shorts with my siblings and my cousins. Like, I'm Mexican, so like we have like big family gatherings. So I would just like, go with my cousins, and like we'd make like, we're always like obsessed with horror, like always obsessed. So like we used to make like just like little horror like shorts and stuff, and just have ourselves watch them, just us for us. And I was always the guy just like recording them and telling them what to do. And yeah, as I got into high school, I just started doing I was big in skateboarding, so I just did a lot of skateboarding videos. Like I would record them, and that's where I learned how to edit, like because that's when like editing software started getting like digitalized, like on computers and stuff. And yeah, that's where I learned that. And I kind of took a break from it, like most of my 20s. I just stopped making anything, like just kind of just worked. And yeah, eventually like towards like the end of my 20s, that's when I started when I made my first short film. And it was like I read Robert Rodriguez's book, the Rebel Without a Crew.
Yeah.
Oh, that thing inspired me. It really inspired me to like make my own movie. So I just kind of wrote a short, and I made one, and that was like my film school. It was like I did everything on set. Like it was literally me as a crew, and I had two of my friends as like the actors, and yeah, and it was an interesting learning experience. Like it was a lot of failing, and after that I started making a lot of like shorts in San Diego when I lived there. And because I lived there for like 15 years, like it was a long time.
Oh, wow.
And I would just make shorts there, and got involved a little bit with the SD film community. And yeah, it was like a lot of like, maybe I made like probably like 10 shorts, but only like 2 of them were watchable. So it was like, it's like you gotta kind of like fail like a lot. And I ended up writing this, like during COVID, I wrote this horror short, and that's the one that like kind of like stepped it up a little bit. It stepped up a level for me.
Yeah.
Like it was just like it was a lot of like, I learned a lot from those past experiences.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say failures, but experiences. And yeah, it just they're really important lessons.
Yeah.
Of what not to do, and things like to do. So it was cool.
That's cool. And that's cool that you kept going, because some people probably do it and like say they didn't like how it came out, and they're like, maybe this is not it. But it's cool that you kept going and making it better, because I really love that short. It's really dope, and we'll get into it in a second. But how did your love for horror start, though? I know you mentioned it a little bit, but like, was there a specific movie or something that kind of like triggered you to like fall in love with that genre?
Yeah, it was it was actually The Exorcist, because when I was a kid, my mom like and dad, they were super strict with me about like watching movies, and I couldn't watch like mature stuff on TV, and like movies, like it was no different. Like I couldn't watch horror. Like there was no actions, no horrors, or nothing. So like
Hmm.
my aunt, and like is my dad's sister, she like had me spend the night at her house because like they were all young when I was a kid, so they were like, you know, in their teenage years. And
Hmm.
she actually showed me like The Exorcist, and she thought I was gonna be freaked out, but I actually like was pretty like I was pretty intrigued. I was like, whoa. And then like after that, like I just kept asking her to show me more, like, you know, these like rated R horror movies. And she just got into like, you know, like more like the 70s stuff. She went to like the more of the like, you know, The Shining and shit like that. And
Yeah.
it just like really like picked up. And then when it got to like the later 90s, like she took me to go see Scream, and that one like really like I was just like, whoa, like this is like a different like kind of horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I was obsessed with it. Like all the old cheesy Stephen King movies, like I love them so much.
Yeah.
Like they're you know, that's what inspired like to do this one a lot too, you know, just like the stuff that scared me in those.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Stephen King has a lot of. Even though he didn't like direct them, obviously they come from his books. But like Sleepwalkers is one where it's like super cheesy, but I love that movie. I don't know if you've ever seen
Yeah,
that one.
yes. Me and my sister, we're both really close, so we both like really love that movie too. We loved all those cheesy ones, like
Yeah.
they're the best. Like we still like when she comes down, like we'll watch Thinner and stuff because she's
Oh
like
yeah.
obsessed with Thinner.
I
I
was saying
love Thinner too.
that's underrated. I was talking about that film the other day with someone. Like I feel like it's an underrated film.
Yeah, it really is, honestly.
I feel like Drag Me to Hell, like the whole gypsy curse thing, like I
Oh
kind of
yeah, yeah,
takes from Thinner, you know, like that's where the first.
yeah, yeah. And Sam Raimi, like I love his
Yes.
horrors. Like his
Yes.
horrors are awesome, man.
Yeah.
But
And yours kind of reminded me a little bit, like, and we'll get into right now about your short film, Bitter Murmur. But what I liked about yours, because I'm just having like a marathon of like Insidious. I'm rewatching it because I'm getting ready for the new film to come out, and I was like, I need to refresh my memory. And what I love about them, like the directors like James Wan and Lee Wanell, is that they use a lot of like the soundtrack and the pacing. And it's not really like about the jump scare, really, because everything like I like how because I was watching the behind the scenes on the DVDs, and it was cool what he said. He's like, I never wanted to do like those jump scares, and it turns out to be fake. Like I wanted to make them real. Like in the first one, I don't know if you remember the scene where like the wife is in the room by herself and she sees this dude pacing by her window, and then the next thing you know the dude is inside her room, and he's like,
yep,
I wanted to make it real. Like I didn't want to like just scare you and like, oh, it was a fake scare. Like I wanted to make it as real as possible. So I was like, oh, that was really cool. I never really thought about it, but your film kind of like reminds me of that, like because you used a lot of like the pacing, the music to kind of build tension. And so let's talk about that. Like how you already told me like why it got inspired, but for those who haven't heard your story, like what inspired the film, and will there be like a feature length film for it?
well, what inspired it was I was I was kind of like in like a rut, like because I
Uh-huh.
was it was like during COVID and stuff, and I was already hadn't created something for like 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like I was like really like I had a lot of angst and anxiety from the virus, and I couldn't go out, and I was just like stuck here in my house, and my room specifically. And yeah, I just started writing about like just I just wanted to write like a simple little, it was like it started off as like a 3 page like little scene basically, so I can
Mm-hmm.
get back into like directing like
Yeah.
once it was clear.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually it turned into like it was like a 20 page script like at one point. And yeah, it just all came from like the anxieties I was feeling, and that's what I use like as like motivation basically for like the things that happen in the story, like it's just how she's feeling. And that's the reason why I made it like a female lead too, because if
Yeah.
I felt like if I made it a dude, it was like my people that were close to me were gonna be like, dude, that's you, man, that's like you straight up right there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't want that. I was like, no, like, so I just made her female. And I yeah, I just with the with the script, like after it was done, like I looked around for a producer,
Mm-hmm.
and I found one. And she, you know, she wanted to come on board, and she gave me a lot of notes, and me and her like just really cut the script down to like, you know, it was like 5 7 pages. So it was like a nice little short, something that, you know, another thing is like something I could afford, because even that costs a lot just for one day of shooting.
Yeah.
And Yeah, and the feature, like I have it like basically outlined, but I don't have it like, set. Like I haven't really been writing that. I've been working on like a couple other little shorts that I've been wanting to do.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned too, like how like the monster or the creature that like whatever is the apparition that shows up in the short film. I don't want to kind of kill it for people that haven't seen it, but um, like was it kind of like a personification of anxiety? Is that kind of how it got inspired, or how did the actual like basic part of the story, like the what you
Yeah,
decided what the monster would be?
it was basically anxiety. It was like
Okay.
that's why people ask me at the end, like is it real or in her head? And
Uh huh.
and I could cop out and be like, oh dude, like it's whatever you interpret it to be. But it really it's in her head. It's a
Yeah.
lot, it's in her head because
Yeah.
like it's a lot what I got like when I was actually writing it during COVID. It was like I was dealing with a lot of anxiety from me, so I was having a lot of like panic attacks and I didn't know what they were.
Mhm.
And I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was like had a brain tumor or something, like something crazy. So yeah, I went to the doctor and all they would tell me was just you got to relax. And I
Yeah.
was like, that's the one thing I didn't want to hear. It's like always like it's in your head, it's in your
Oh
head.
yeah. Yeah.
And so like that's why I was just like, oh, what if I made this like into like a little short or something like a like it's like the monster is like just something that's like not real, but it's like in her head. And
Yeah.
it was just like a fun little thing. And I got inspired by a lot of the tension and stuff I threw in there was like inspired by a lot from a lot of James Wan stuff because like how he
Yeah.
puts like that tension like like just in stuff and nothing happens, like that's
Yeah.
that's what I love, like that's what I try to like replicate in a way, pay homage to.
Yeah, I think I thought that was really dope because I was like I can relate to that. Like I think I deal with anxiety too, so I was like, oh, and I was like thinking too, like in the feature film, like obviously, do you explore more of that, like of the whole apparition and like
Yeah, it
just
actually like in the way I had it outlined, it was like it deals with her a lot, like it keeps like getting worse and worse and worse
mm-hmm.
until like like explodes basically, like when you try to fight something. It's basically with anxiety when you try to fight it too much and it's like you don't deal with it, it just
Yeah,
like
it gets
it
worse.
explodes.
Yeah,
Yeah, so like that's the whole thing. And then it's like we explore more about like about her husband, like is
okay.
he real
I
or is
was gonna
like
say too. Yeah,
yeah what I mean? Is like is he real or is he also like in her head too? So
yeah,
it was just like little things like that. But features are like
yeah.
I applaud those guys, those indie filmmakers that can do a feature because like it's a lot of work and a lot of money just to do a short.
Yeah, and then it was really like I really like dug it because I was like I'm hoping it's good because I already told them I'm gonna have it on my podcast, but I was like I really like loved it, like I enjoyed it, and the other ones that were on there too on the block of like all the shorts were really cool. But what I really liked about yours too, it kind of reminded me of Smile, like the beginning scene with the
I kind of got
psychiatrist
that
or
a lot from
psychologist,
like
right?
people that saw it. They're just
Yeah,
like, "Hey, did you watch Smile?" I was
yeah,
like, "No," because at the time I never saw it, so I was like,
yeah,
"No, I hadn't seen it." And then I went to see it in theaters, and I loved it. I loved it the way they
yeah.
dealt with that too.
Yeah, because I feel like that was also like, was it even real either? It kind of was like also like like some like trauma personified by
Yeah,
this monster, right? So
yep. And that's honestly like how we're gonna explore it in my feature of this is like it was like like that it's not real. It's like it's just all trauma like that she dealt with as a little kid and never really dealt with it. She just like runs away.
yeah,
And that like that they kind of did it in this movie. So I was like, oh, they already have this movie, so
and the
they
loop
already
was
have
really
him.
good too. Like even though it was like a short, but it's like it does a lot when you have like a good cast, good writing, and just like the overall like the cinematography. Like I really love the
Thank you.
actress. She was really good, and obviously
Oh my
the whole
god,
film. Yeah.
Kaylin, I got so lucky with her. She like it's a trip with her because like she didn't have any like prior like acting experience before
Oh
this.
wow.
Like she was just like barely like diving into it like because she was a dancer like
Oh
a
okay.
performer.
Uh huh.
And so like she all she did was give me like a headshot, and it wasn't even like a real headshot. It was like a Polaroid of her, like her face, like just smiling, and she would just like she sent me like a long cover letter, basically like can I please have a opportunity just to audition, like and
Yeah.
like because I don't have any this and that, I don't have any experience, I don't have any work, but I would just love just to audition.
Mhm.
And I was just like, yeah, like anybody that gave me like a cover letter or anything like or note like to just
Mhm.
ask, like it's like because in this business like nobody gives you a chance, man, like.
That's true.
And yeah, I gave her a chance and like she blew me away in her audition. I was like, whoa, because like the way I did it was I gave him like a couple pages from the script and I told him like like I'm not going to give you any direction. I'm just going to let you go with it. What you think, like I want you to interpret the scene yourself
Yeah.
and see what you come up with. And she came up with it like spot on, exactly what I was feeling. Like it
Yeah.
was just like the way she like shook and like the way she had her eyes and everything. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, like this is like I was like so fixated on her, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like she actually nailed it. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, on set she was like she was great, man. She was great, but like I could tell she was really nervous. It's
Mm-hmm.
like because like these 8K because we shot it in 8K,
Mm-hmm.
so like we had this like telephoto lens for like the those like profile shots,
Yeah.
and yeah, she I could see like her heart like beating all hard through her neck.
Oh my God.
Like I could see
Yeah.
like pulsing. I was just like, whoa, she's like really nervous. And then like the mics too, you could pick up on like their stomachs gargling and stuff. So we had to kind of like just relax everybody, just
Yeah.
relax, relax. Because they kind of looked like a pretty big set in there because it was like a lot of people and it was like, a lot of lights and the smoke machine, everything, the haze machine, it had
Mm-hmm.
everything in there.
Oh
And it
wow.
was just like, yeah, it was the sound guy, like he had them lobbed up, he had like, two booms, he had hidden mics all around the set,
Oh
like
wow.
picking up everything.
Yeah.
So it was just like it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was like it was my first time meeting everybody too, because like my producer just hired everybody. Like I just
Uh-huh.
like paid her and she hired everybody
Nice.
except for the DP. Like the DP and me, we had to click. So we had a
Yeah.
couple like phone conversations and Zoom
Mm-hmm.
meetings. See
Yeah.
if we clicked, and that guy and me, like we clicked right away. Like he saw exactly what I saw, and like it was awesome. It was just like a really good, we had a good sync going on set. It's
Yeah.
like we didn't even need a shot list because like I literally just he knew what I wanted, like what shots I wanted. I just told him
Nice.
like where to put the camera, and he was just like he knew which like close ups I wanted and everything.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, like, especially because you said she's like the main character, so it's good that you got like a good like a cast person, even though because she's the main primary that's carrying the film, right? So, uh,
Yeah.
she kind of reminded me a little bit of like Katie Holmes, like just the way she looks, not her acting, because Katie Holmes is not the best actor, but but and how long did it take you to like film the short, and how many days?
We only had one day, 11 hours.
Oh wow.
11
Okay.
hours, and it was supposed to be like four locations.
Okay.
So we just man, my producer like really like she was a gem, man. Like she found like these places, and we
Mm-hmm.
just was she planned it out like everything. So it was like there was hiccups on set, but like she took care of them. Like all she had me, she kept telling me, she's like Manny, just go over there and just be with the actors, just be with the actors. He's like, don't worry about this, I'll take care of it. I was like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
because it was like wardrobe malfunctions and shit like that.
Okay. And what
Yeah.
about the makeup, like for like the personification of like anxiety, like who did all that? That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it was an actual makeup artist that she knew of. She knew her, and
Uh-huh.
she like like sent me her stuff, and she's like, what do you think about her doing this? And I was like, yeah, yeah, like, and me and the makeup artist, her name's Alondra.
Uh-huh.
Like she does it's funny because like she does like the makeup for like the prosthetics and like the special effects for those for the what are they, those the Who's at Universal Studios.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the shows, like she does all the makeup for them.
Oh,
And
wow.
so like yeah, she's like actually like she's a really like talented makeup artist, and I literally can only afford her for like I think like 3 hours. That's all I
Yeah.
could afford her for. So
Uh-huh.
like she just did the makeup, and yeah, she just left. Like she just did the makeup, said bye, and left. And but after the whole set and everything, she loved the movie, and she kept coming to like a lot of the screenings and stuff in
Yeah.
LA, and it was cool. It was cool. She was like really supportive of it, like sharing it everywhere on her social media. And but yeah, we just had her, and she like airbrushed her
Oh,
because
wow.
that was another thing, like to save money. Like
Mm-hmm.
me and my producer like looked for somebody that had kind of like angular like facial features already, so we don't have
Mm-hmm.
to put prosthetics and stuff. So like,
Yeah.
and so like we kind of like wanted to go for like an older woman,
Mm-hmm.
like and then like this one like was like perfect. She goes, my producer was like, hey, I found this girl in this acting class, like what about her?
Yeah.
And she was really cool, but a little difficult at times,
Uh-huh.
but she was a really sweet lady, but she
Yeah.
just didn't really want to do the things that I really envisioned with like I really wanted her like in the short, like she has like stuff coming out of her mouth, like
Okay.
drooling. And
Yeah.
even at the end, when she like pins her down on the bed,
Yeah.
like she's supposed to be drooling on Kaylin, like all over her face, like with the black stuff and everything. And
Yeah.
it was supposed to be like my alien thing.
Yeah.
But and we all like, my actress Kaylin, she agreed to it. She was all stoked for it and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Matanya, she didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
She didn't want anything in her mouth.
Okay.
And it's even though Alondra was telling her that, nothing's gonna mess up her teeth or her dentures or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was a trip. And then like, her wardrobe too, like I bought her that gown and I guess it was see-through,
Mm-hmm.
like it was just all sheer or something. And like,
Mm-hmm.
we couldn't have her like going around like, and she was wearing like a black bra. So
Yeah.
my AD, like he's like, dude, there's a Target right here. I'm gonna run to the store and just buy her a undershirt and we're gonna put it on. It's gonna be perfect. I was like, all right. So he ran to this over there and got it and came back. And it was just stuff like that. Like we had like a really good sync
Yeah.
going on. And because we literally only had the location from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's it. That's
Oh
all
wow.
that guy let us have it for.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's crazy.
And
what
we had
was
and
go ahead.
11 o'clock we had to be out. Like it had to be before. So we had to
Clean and
wrap
clean
at
up.
10.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Damn.
that's why he gave us a discount too, because my producer volunteered like the crew and us to like clean up the house
Yeah.
instead of like charging a cleaning fee.
Yeah. Where did you guys film? Where was it? Is it like?
In Los Feliz in LA.
Oh really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
We
pretty cool.
shot there. It was cool. Like when we scouted the location, it was like perfect, but they didn't tell us like two things. They didn't tell us that that it's noisy, like because there was like planes going by during the
Mm-hmm.
day when we were shooting.
Yeah.
And then there was stupid the bathtub didn't work, and then one of the bathrooms didn't work, so we were like stuck like this it was like 20 people in there like using one bathroom, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was like, yeah, so
That's
like
crazy.
it was just stuff that we should have known, because we paid a lot for that location. We
Yeah.
paid a lot.
Was it
Yeah, dude.
like a Airbnb type of thing or like a room or what was it or like
It's
a
this
house?
it's like this like app where you use. It's called like, I forgot what it was
Is
called,
it
but
Peer
it's basically
Space
like,
kind of?
yeah, Peer
Okay.
Space. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've used it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was cool. Like the guy was really cool. Like, but it's just like that's one complaint I had. It was like the bathroom. And it was just like, you know, one bathroom for the whole set. It
Yeah.
was pretty
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah. I was about to say I'm like what was the worst part and the most like fun part about making it, but you already answered the what's the worst part. What was
It
like
was a
the
bathroom, and then there was a quinceanera going on next door.
Oh, I think you told me about that.
Yeah, there was a
Oh my
quince. So
gosh.
all the night scenes you see, like the bedroom scenes, all of them in the dark, like we had to ADR the whole thing.
Oh
So
wow.
I hired like I had a good sound mixer. So he he hired or he recommended an actress, like a voice actress, like in where he was from, because he's from Seattle.
Mhm.
So like he recommended one, and yeah, I just paid her, and she just did the overdubbing with him,
Oh
and it
wow.
came out good. Like he
Yeah.
synced it and everything. Like he did. It was like one of the first shorts that only had to do was edit,
Yeah.
edit and direct.
Yeah, no, it came out good because I watched like not to like burn people out in the film festival, but like your audio everything was good because I saw like one of the films where like the audio was really bad, like it was not
Oh,
synced. It was not synced, and for me it bugs me. Even it was only like I think like 2 seconds off or something, but it throws me off. Like if the lips are moving and then the words are coming out either slower or faster,
yeah, it was
and
like
then
rubber
it threw me
lips.
off. Yeah, and it like it turns me off the movie because I'm like I'm just watching them talk.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big thing. And then like when we because we premiered this at at the Chinese theater in Hollywood,
Mhm.
so like we got the theater number one, which is
Mhm.
like the big one, and it
Yeah.
had like this, the sound system is ridiculous there. So like I was really scared. I was just like, holy crap! Like my sound mixer, like he did this in his room, like in this like little studio apartment, and like like the ones that we're competing with, like we're not competing, like because I always think of it as like we're screening with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're in the same level, so we're screening with these other guys, and they had like actual like sound stages and stuff. Even the one in Latino, like a lot of
Yeah.
those guys, they had like sound mixing, like the stages and everything.
Yeah.
And like I was just like, dude, how are we going to compete with this? Like how are we going to compare and not compete? And luckily, like ours was like one of the only ones in the like the shorts block in the Chinese theater that didn't like have like peaking levels where it was
Yeah, or
just
like
like too
crackling,
high.
or yeah.
Yeah. It was just like mixed like perfect, and it was just like it
Nice.
was a trip. It was a trip. It was you could hear it in the back and everything, and like when she's like wheezing and stuff, and it was
Yeah.
so cool. I was just like, whoa, this is insane.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
think
say
that
that it was good, the
yeah,
audio.
and man, but like that's the only thing I had my gripe with the Latino Film Festival was
Hmm.
that they didn't tell me that they were gonna like do stereo mix. It sounded like stereo
Mm,
mix to me, like it was all in
kind
the
of
front of
doesn't.
the screen, and
Yeah.
like I was expecting it to be
Do
around
like
more
around.
because like
Yeah.
yeah, because that's what our DCP had is like it's like it has the 5.1 mix, so it's just like he spent a lot of time doing that, and it's just like it makes a big difference like to hear it in the 5.1.
It
So
does.
that's why like when you actually hear it with headphones, it actually sounds like good too.
Yeah.
Like that's how I watch everything. That's why so I'm like big on the headphone thing.
Yeah, and I'm the same way because yeah, that's why honestly I don't go to the AMC theater. I was like they should have had it somewhere else because the one I go to is in Grossmont and that one has the surround sound like and you could
Oh,
tell like you said
okay.
like the difference. I don't know if AMC has it maybe then just in certain theaters, but I don't really go there anymore just because it's pricier and I feel like it's not like the best quality.
Yeah,
But
they just don't really care. Like they
yeah,
don't they don't have as much love. Even like
yeah.
yeah, like even like the old school theaters have like better sound systems.
Exactly. Yeah, but either way, it sounded good. Like I could like hear like the tension and all that stuff with the like I said like the James Wan type
You
of
sh
vibe.
you should have seen me on the top over there when I was like I was having a beer, just like I was like, God damn it. Like I was just like I was dying inside. I was just like the sound, like I can't even hear it all the way up here.
Yeah, and it's funny because talking about that, like it reminds me of like us as creatives, like we all notice those little things. Like you yourself
I
will,
know.
but the other people are like, oh, I mean, they're unless they're like into like super like sound, like we know. People will be like, oh damn, I can't really hear it on around me. I can only hear it in the front, but um, either
We
way,
notice everything,
yeah,
everything.
yeah. I know I'm the same way because I just had like an episode too, like not for this podcast, but the other podcast I do with my sister, and I forgot to turn off like the internal speaker on my computer, and when I don't do that, like it echoes, and I was pissed because I
Oh.
forgot, and the episode is like all echoey, and I was like, it bugs me, and then my one of my friends was like, somebody else is not really gonna notice it. I'm like, yeah, but I am. I was just like, sorry, and I didn't figure out how to remove it, so I was like, I'm probably gonna have to drop it that way. So, but yeah, that bugs me. Uh,
Yeah, I totally feel you on that.
and
There's
what
like
was it?
little things I was doing that to the film too.
What was your favorite part of the film of doing the
Of
film?
oh, doing the film was actually directing. Like I think the rehearsing with the actors was like my favorite part, honestly, because this is honestly like one of the first times that I really like really like directed the film. Like because before this, like I was just like still learning, so I didn't really know like
Hmm.
how to direct like properly. I mean, there's no real right or wrong way, but I didn't really know like I didn't know. So like this one, like I just went into it and I just like I really like talked to my actors and really like got them like feeling like they're in the safe space to kind of like
Yeah,
safe space to kind of like play around a little bit and shoot ideas at me and like they just like really gave me what I wanted, man. Like it was awesome. It was awesome. That was like my favorite part of it.
yeah,
It was just directing them and like we became like really close friends, just through the process.
that's pretty cool. And how do you normally like? I know you talked a little bit about this film, but for like future projects or anything like that, when you're trying to think of an idea for a film, like where do you start? Do you just kind of start like writing the screenplay, or do you think about like the premise first and then go from there? What's like your process?
Honestly, it's how I'm feeling like in the certain mindset that I'm feeling. Like this new short that I'm writing, for example, like
Mm-hmm.
I feel a little bit of like grief, like that I was feeling grief like the last couple of months, and a lot of like feeling like trapped.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was just like kind of just like in my head a little bit, and then like I came up with this like basically like a log line in my
Uh
head,
huh.
and then it just kind of like went off from there. It just
Okay.
went into the actual script, and that's what I've been doing in the past couple weeks is like literally just
Nice.
writing, and just keeps going.
And
Just
what program do you use for your writing or for your
final
script?
draft,
Okay.
final draft.
And what advice would you give like someone starting out to like start filmmaking, either directing or writing?
just literally go out there and make something. Like nobody's gonna give you money, nobody's gonna give you like the right advice. Like you got to do it. You got to just go out there and make
Hmm.
something, even if it comes out like bad, like
Yeah.
it's okay. Like you just learn something from it. Like that's the big thing with me is like you just got to go out there and make it. And like even if you like fail, like you don't really fail because like you just the biggest thing is like you just waste money. Like
That's true.
you just waste money. So like just just make something like write just like yeah, just that's my biggest thing is just like go out there and create, and you'll get better. That you'll find your voice in your writing. If you don't like writing, just get a friend or somebody that likes writing and team up with them, and yeah, just make something, and you'll eventually like figure it out like on the way up. Like I mean, if you don't, if it's that's not your thing, you could read a bunch of books.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah, you mentioned a good book for those that were listening. It was Rebel Without a
yeah.
Crew. I read that one too, and I was like super inspired by it. Even though it was like back
It's
in the day, but like for him to
it's
have done
still
it,
like
that's crazy.
yeah. Yeah, like some stuff in there is kind of ridiculous where he's just like, oh, I'm just gonna do this and this,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's cool. It's really inspirational. Like it's a cool story, especially like, being Latino and stuff. Like
Yes.
it's cool. Like another Mexican like just made it, like that. Like it was cool.
Yeah, he's like one of my favorite directors. But yeah, I was cracking up with the like pretty much he was selling his body like for experiments just to make the money.
Yeah, for the money, for the
Yeah,
money. I know.
that was
Yeah.
crazy. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I would go that far, but
Yeah, I don't think I
um,
would go that far, like selling like going for experiments and stuff. I just save some money on the side.
yeah, seriously. But yeah, he's really dope. Like From Dusk Till Dawn is one of my favorite films of all time. So I was like,
Oh
man,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's I got a lot of inspiration from that one for this next little short that I'm doing.
Oh,
Well,
nice.
that I wrote.
Uh huh.
I have no plans on like really shooting it yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, I really love like how he uses like Mexican mythology like into that at least that specific film. And I was like, I want to do something like that later on for sure.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that'd be cool because I really like how and then the show too. I don't know if you ever watched. Did you watch the show when it was on Netflix?
I
I don't know
never
if
did. I
it's
never got to see it.
it was pretty good because
Yeah.
it was like pretty much a continuation of the films originally from like the first film pretty much because you know how at the end they show the pyramid in the back of the
Yeah.
city twister
It's
or
like the
whatever.
Mayan one and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, and so they go more into the mythology of it, which I really
Oh,
loved.
that's
But
cool.
then it got canceled after like I think the third or second season. I was so mad, but yeah. So he directed I think most of the episodes I think for that one.
I gotta check it out. I really gotta check it out because I
Yeah,
love Rodriguez. Like he's still one of my biggest inspirations, man.
yeah. They
Like I
have
love
I love that he gives opportunities to other Latino actors too. Like like he
yeah.
has in the what's it called in the show he brings some of the people back like Danny Trejo, Cheech Marin I think comes back, and then Wilmer
Those
Valderrama
guys.
is in it. Yeah, and he has other Latino actors in there. Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. And then I was gonna ask you too. What's your favorite scene from Bitter Murmur and why?
I think honestly I like the bathroom scene a lot. Like
Oh yeah.
there's a scene in the bathroom where just
Yeah.
like that one took me the longest to edit, honestly, because like I got I got a lot of notes from my producer and director because that's the kind of like or my DP because that's the
Mhm.
kind of like filmmaker I am. Like I like to hear everybody's opinions. Like I don't care if it's like a PA on set or somebody like it's cool just hearing everybody out like because everybody has a good idea sometimes
Yeah.
and like so I just like I got close with my producer and my DP and when I was editing it I was like, hey, can you give me some notes, like real notes, like just be real with me, and like and they were just like though it was always the same thing. It was like you got to make like a bigger meal of the bathroom scene, like
Yeah.
you got to make it more tension, more everything, like more anxiety in there. And I was like, all right, so it took like man, it took so many edits like of that scene just to get it like right. And
Yeah.
that's what like hooked my cinema my composer. Like he was just like really like he was like, yeah man, after I saw the scene, like I wanted to be a part of it. And I was
Yeah.
like, cool man, like that's the one that I like the most, like because it's just like a lot of stuff and like nothing really happens,
Yeah. It
like a
reminded me
lot
a
of
little
build
bit
up.
of the Nightmare on Elm Street scene when she's in the bathtub. Like it kind of reminded me of that, where
Oh yeah, yeah,
she's falling asleep and the glove starts coming out. It
yeah,
kind of
yeah. So that's what I really wanted. Like after doing that scene, it really inspired me to like for this next short, like I just really like wrote a lot of like tense scenes like that, like really like just a lot of like build up, just a lot of
Yeah.
build up for like no really payback in a way. Like it's just
Yeah.
like it builds up and nothing happens until
Yeah.
like the end, like something does happen.
That's cool. And I was gonna ask you too, like, talking about like scaring and like the tension of the films. Like for you, like why do you feel? Because I like asking this question. Like, what do you feel like people love being scared? Like, what do you think people? What it is about fear that people like, or like watching horror movies, for example, like, or at least for you, if you can't maybe speak for others, but for yourself, like, what do you think that we love being scared?
I think it's like an adrenaline. It's like a roller coaster. It's like gives you
Yeah.
like that rush, like you're like, oh, like something like I mean, I haven't really been scared like lately from any
Mhm.
movies, but like they still like make me jump sometimes. But
Yeah.
I just don't really like those like cute jump scares too much. Like
Yeah.
with the loud noises, but that's what
Yeah.
freaks me out, like loud noises.
Yeah.
So like I think it's what it is. It's like the adrenaline spike that you get. Like it's kind of like you're
Yeah.
on the roller coaster. Like I said, your heart rate
Exactly.
goes up and you're just like excited and you laugh at yourself a little bit, like when you
Yeah.
jump. Like it's a
That's
cool
true.
feeling. Like it's something that a lot of other movies don't give you.
That's true. Yeah, I agree. I was rewatching. Like I said, I was watching Insidious. I was watching chapter 3 last night, and I was
Oh,
like, even
okay.
though I haven't seen it in a long time, so I forgot where some of the jump scares are. But it was funny because it was like at the end where the stupid fucking demon comes out, like, and you know how they use the music too. Like on top of that, they put the freaking loud ass music, and I was like,
Yeah,
it caught me
yeah.
off guard, and I was like, ah shit. I was like, it got me after
You
all
know
these
that's
years.
it's funny because like the scene in the there's a scene in my movie where she's like confronted with like this fear, this thing, and
Uh-huh.
like her reaction when she's all freaking out, like my actress
Yeah.
Kaylin, you probably
Uh-huh.
remember, it was just like the close up of her,
Yeah.
like she was like reacting to nothing, man. Like there was nothing there. Like she hadn't seen Matanya, and like she was like the way I got her to that place was like I was like, hey, have you seen Insidious, the first one? She's like, yeah. And I was like, did that part freak you out with the reveal of the witch in the top of the closet? And like
Okay.
where it zooms in all fast. And she's like, oh my God, that freaked me out. I was like, just feel that. Just go back to that feeling, like go to that scene and just see that. And like, dude, she gave me like the best reactions ever. Like
That's
she was just
cool.
like she like brought it. Like she was like really like scared. And it's like a dude in front of her with a camera and like
Yeah.
three guys behind her with like, just with the boom and everything. And
Yeah. That's
it
pretty
was
cool. That
good.
takes that's pretty that takes a lot because I'm like I don't know if I would be able to pretend like if I didn't have anything in front of me.
Yeah, she just had the lens and a bunch of like like me right there in front of her, like
Yeah.
like just watching her.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's a cool fun fact. I thought she was like actually seeing the person in front of her or something. Uh, and what for you? What's like your greatest fear?
um, just I think my greatest fear is like like the maybe the thought of like going crazy, like basically like nothing's really happening. It's just like you're just losing your mind, like what I mean,
Yeah.
like kind of reminds, it's like basically that's why I like The Shining so much, because I feel like he's like
Mm-hmm.
dealing with a lot of like trauma, like from like alcoholism and everything, and he's like seeing stuff that he thinks is real but it's not real, and it's basically him, like to me it's like him like losing his mind, like that's
Yeah.
my biggest fear, is like losing my control of my mind and stuff.
Yeah. That is kind of scary.
Yeah, that's why I try to implement it a lot in my later works, like this one and this new one I'm writing.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm excited. And do you have a name for it yet or not yet for the new one that
I
you're
don't I
writing?
don't have it,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
It's still just untitled story.
Okay. I think that's hard too, like titling it. Like I have one, like the one that I told you that I'm working on, and I gave it a title, but even then I'm like I'm not like set on it yet. Like how did you come up
Yeah.
with like Bitter Murmur? Like how did you like finally like decide okay that's gonna be it?
Um, that's what I thought of first. It was like the title, like A Bitter Murmur. Like it was just like, like a sour whisper or something, like just something that sounded like weird and dark. And
Yeah,
I
that's
was
pretty cool.
I just kind of went with it. I just like, what is it? I just kind of like owned it, I just like I just like put it on, and I just like whatever. I'm gonna stay with this. I'm gonna stick
Yeah.
to it. And that's why with this one I'm a little more like what do I name this? Like what do I call this?
Yeah. And what have you learned so far, like from being in the film festival circuit?
Oh, this is my first time ever like being doing film festival circuits. Like
Hmm.
we it just I learned a lot of like just basically how to network more. like
Yeah.
keeping contact with people, and like I made a lot of new friends and everything, and just it was a trip, but like seeing people's reactions to the movies, you know.
Yeah.
Like I think the biggest reaction we had was for in North Hollywood at the NoHo Cinefest.
Uh-huh.
Like it was cool. It was like a really packed theater, and it was just like I heard the dude next to me, like when you see Matanya's face in the movie,
Yeah.
he just like turned like that, and he's like, oh fuck man, like I was just laughing because he didn't know I was like the director, you know.
Oh yeah.
Just like some random dude. And then like
That's
people were like gasping, and like there was girls yelling in there, and like I was just like, oh, this is cool.
yeah.
Like it just like made me laugh. Like I was just laughing because I was like, oh, it's just Matanya.
That's cool. Like probably seeing the people's reactions, right? Like once it's finally out, like to see
Yeah,
like how your
it's
film.
pretty.
Go ahead.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you know, it's like it's pretty nerve wracking, like seeing like people, you know, react to something so personal of yours, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but when it's good, it's just like it's kind of like that thing we're talking about with horror movies, it's like an adrenaline rush, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, like kind of get you pumping a little bit. Like you're like, whoa, like this is fun, like
Yeah.
like entertaining people.
yeah.
It's
Like
like the whole reason why we make movies.
that's true. Yeah. For me, I was like, ah, shit. Like when like the last scene where like the apparition kind of like grabs her and shit. I was like, oh hell no. I was like, I would. And one thing I like to ask too is like, what are your top 5 like horror movies of all time?
Oh, The Shining's number one for me.
Okay.
The Shining, The Exorcist. Shoot, I like Saw, the first one, a lot.
Okay.
And let's see, what's another one?
You got 2 more.
I like Alien, the first one.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
Yeah,
that's a
it's a
pretty
good one.
horrific movie for me. Like that one, and then the last one would probably be Misery. Definitely
Oh,
Misery.
nice.
I
Okay.
love Misery.
Yeah. yeah, Kathy
Yeah,
Bates is something else.
dude, she was awesome.
yeah, she's funny. Yeah, like Alien I was rewatching the just like I love the series of the Alien movies. So I know some of them are like hit or miss, but I like Prometheus. I was rewatching it the other
I like
day.
Prometheus. I
Yeah,
liked it
that
too.
one and what was the one after Alien Covenant? I don't know. I feel like
Yeah,
they kind of got hate a little bit, but I was like, I like them for what it was. I just because it kind of continues the mythology of like the whole series, which was cool.
yeah, I liked it too. What did you think of like going like to some A24 stuff, like
Oh,
Hereditary? And
yeah.
I forgot to name those. Those are some of my
Oh,
favorites. Yeah,
yeah.
Hereditary
Yeah, I think I don't know if you see
and
in the background, like I have the little payment guy back here behind me. It's like a little, it's like really tiny. Let me see if I can get him.
oh shit,
You
yeah.
see like King Payment with the little crown.
I I have this too. I don't know if you can see
oh yeah, is that
that.
Tony Collette, right? Like
Yeah, a
she's
little pin of her.
yeah. Like I was saying, like that film. Honestly, it doesn't even scare me. Like none of like the stuff like where she cuts up her head or like the little girl gets
No, it
beheaded.
doesn't.
It's for me was more of like the message behind it. Like at least the way I interpreted it was like that you never really finish knowing like your family, like because like she didn't even know
Yeah,
her mom. Like
yeah,
she had a fucking cult going on
yeah.
and was having her grandkid like be the fucking vessel for this demon. So for me that fucking scared me because I've dealt with like witchcraft and all that shit in my family. So I was like that scared me more than the other stuff like the bloody stuff.
Hey, I'm in the same boat with you. My family too. We had some witches in the old days in our bloodline.
Oh God. yeah,
Yeah,
that shit
yeah,
creeps me out. I'm like, yeah, I'll stay away from that shit. But I've seen stuff like that. Like my parents would tell me like, oh yeah, we've gotten this shit happen to us. I was like, oh yeah, no. I'm like, I don't mess with that
yeah.
stuff.
I don't either. Yeah, but
um,
yeah, like that's the thing about those movies. They're just like, they just like, they just like, you know, man, they just make you feel like crap, you know?
yeah, it's like what's it called? It lingers with you.
Yeah,
Like there's
yeah.
more of the story. Like yeah, A24. I was talking about that with my friend. We're like, we should do like a list of. I think that people done on YouTube videos where they like list like their favorites from like top to bottom. But like Hereditary is one of my favorites, and then what's another one? I'm like trying to think of all the Ari Aster ones, like
Midsommar.
Midsummer. Yeah, I
It's
don't know.
kind of more like a traumatic thing. It's like a
Yeah,
cult, not really cult. It's like old weird stuff, like Swedish.
yeah. I don't know if I was like a huge fan. Like I only watched it twice. I think. Um, but I like Hereditary. I would watch Hereditary more probably than that one.
Did you ever see Bodies, Bodies, Bodies?
Yeah, I was kind of pissed with the end. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I felt so stupid. I was making it all complicated, and it was so easy.
I actually love that they made it so
Really?
like it seemed like so like it was gonna be like this like mastermind
Yeah,
killer or something,
that's what I'm
and it was
saying.
just like this idiot just doing a TikTok video.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I felt stupid. I went to go see it in theaters too. I was like, oh, what a waste of money.
Yeah, we saw it down here. I mean, I saw it in my room. I just when it came to Showtime, I was just
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I'm gonna watch it.
That was it was yeah, I was like, are you serious? I took my mom too. I like forced her to go with me. She was like, what the fuck was this?
It's
um
A24. Like you always like think a little higher of them, like it's like
it's
they get
true.
so
Yeah.
much hype. And what about
Um
Lamb?
Lamb, I actually haven't seen it, but I love the actress, the Naomi girl. That she's
Yeah,
in it, right? Yeah.
yep.
I
She,
like
dude,
the. Did you see the one with her? I think it's called "You Won't Be Alone." I don't know if it's an A24, but it's like
no, I
she
haven't seen
comes out
that.
in it. You should watch it. You'll probably dig it. It's one of those films either you're gonna like it or you're gonna hate it because it's really like slow paced, but it's about witches too. Again,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's kind
Yeah,
of
I'm gonna check
like
that out.
it's weird too because like the whole time now that I think about it, she had really no dialogue. Like there's no dialogue in that movie. It's all like just acting.
Okay, I was like, that's basically how Lamb is. Like Lamb is like
Okay.
my brother was like really like pushing me to watch it. He's like, because he bought like the special edition of it and everything,
Uh
and
huh.
he was just like so like he couldn't stop thinking about it. And I was like, if a movie does that to you, then that's pretty good, where you just don't you keep thinking about it, even though you're like, I hated it, but like I still think about it. Like it did something to you, like it left you with a feeling, a lingering feeling, and so I watched it and I was just like, whoa, like it's a weird movie, but it's like slow paced. It's like pretty horrific and stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just you got to watch it. It's just like a trip.
Yeah, because I remember I think I was gonna watch it. I know for sure I've seen the trailer and I saw like maybe the beginning, but I don't think I finished like I want to say I kind of skimmed through it. And then I was like,
Yeah,
should I go back to it? Because I kept hearing like good things about it. But yeah, she comes out in it, and that's why I wanted to watch it. So I'll probably have to give it a rewatch to watch it
yeah.
like the
She's
whole
really good in
thing.
it. She's
Yeah.
really good in it.
Okay, then if you like that one, you'll probably like it's called You Won't Be Alone. But it's like pretty much the premise is like this like ancient witch or whatever. It's like in a village. It's like I don't know if it never says what era it takes place in, but it looks like those old era, like maybe like 1800s or something. I don't know. I'm not good with my eras, but it's something around that time. And like this witch pretty much like tells these farmers like that she'll give them like their crops to grow because I think everything's dying. And so
Yeah,
she's like, in order for you guys to like have all these crops, whatever, like you guys, whoever has a baby or whatever, will owe me your baby. When it's kind of like a Rumpelstiltskin type of vibe.
that's
And so
crazy.
yeah, and so they like tell her, right? They're like, when you have your baby, you have to give it to me. And so obviously the lady later like has the baby, and obviously you have your kid. You're probably looking at them, and you're like, oh shit, like I have to give you away now. And so she doesn't
Yeah.
want to do it, but she ends up like the witch ends up just taking her away, and the poor girl like grows up in the cave, and then but then she escapes, and then it's pretty much like she kind of became the vessel for the witch. I think it's kind of weird because like there's no dialogue, so I'm just like interpreting it how I interpret it. But pretty much she's like also a witch, the little girl, and so she takes these different forms of people. It's crazy. It's like a crazy ass film, but you have to watch it.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out for sure.
Yeah. And then the other A24, I think like X. I liked X with
Oh, I love X. I love
yeah.
Pearl too.
Oh yeah, Pearl too.
Pearl
Yeah.
was like it was like a wacky play at Alice in what no no no, at Wizard of Oz to me.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
I
so
can see that.
trippy. All the colors and everything. And
Yeah.
I love Wizard of Oz. So it's just like I was blown away by that one.
Yeah, I'm excited for the third one. Was it what do they call it?
Maxine.
Maxine? Yeah.
Yep. Maxine.
Yeah,
The
Mia
three
Goth
X's.
is hilarious. Like, did you watch what's the one? Infinity Pool. Have you watched that one with her?
No, I want to see that one.
Okay, you gotta watch it. It's freaking hilarious. There's like a freaking funny scene. I don't want to kill it because there was like a scene that me and my friend were just cracking up. Like, she's just like she's over the top. I feel like she's like the Nicolas Cage like female version. But it's freaking hilarious.
Uh, yeah, I got to check it out. It's on
Yeah.
my list.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And then before we get out of here, I usually want to like ask like, what's your what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind, like either creatively or personally?
Um, just want to leave some movies that are going to entertain people, like hopefully like my first feature that I ever go into, it'll be something that's like something I'm super proud of that'll just like, people will be stoked on it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. And then anything else that you want to like promote before we get out of here?
No, there's nothing right now. Like we have some screenings going on. Like we had a screening yesterday in New York for Bitter Murmur.
Nice,
And
congrats.
thank you. and I heard it went well, so I couldn't be there.
Yeah.
It was like on a Monday night, so and then yeah, we're gonna be screening in London, like,
Oh
but it's gonna
wow.
be online. I guess
Okay.
they're gonna have it online too. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, so yeah, we got a couple festivals we're gonna be screening at, and you know, anybody wants to watch the movie, just hit me up on Instagram.
Is there any other ones that you're like planning to attend that's like farther away that you would want to go or not yet? Like, because obviously you can't
There
make New York,
is,
but
I mean, if I got into horrible imaginings, then that
mm-hmm.
one would be one that I'd go into.
That's where's that one
But
at?
that one's in Anaheim, I think.
Okay. Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's pretty good. That's a cool thing about like being in film festivals because you get to be on these different places of the world, which is really cool.
yeah, yeah. It's like people like see them everywhere else. You know what I mean? Like people in New York and stuff. Like that's pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
And then yeah, and then shout out to your brother, right, too, because he's also was he like a executive producer or what was he?
Executive, yeah. He's
Okay.
executive producer. He put some money in there, and
Yeah.
he emotional support, helped me on set. He was the guy that like watched me on set that I wasn't gonna have like a complete nervous breakdown.
Oh my
Yeah, it's like yeah, anytime they needed to find me, because like we had like walkie talkies and everything, so anytime he
uh-huh.
needed to find me, like he would just like, hey dude, they're looking for you on set. Like, oh, okay. Because I always be outside like doing my own thing or something, like away, sometimes
Yeah.
just hanging out with the actors, like just talking with them, because like I didn't want to be in the way of the crew guys, because it was such a
Uh-huh.
small space too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he was always there, reading my first draft, reading my last draft, and just giving me like just good pep talks, like it's gonna be good, it's gonna be good, it's good emotional support.
Yeah, that's cool. And shout out
Nice.
to
And
him.
then yeah, and then film festival is always promoting.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
going up and
he's
people,
a
hey,
good
come watch this
promoter.
movie. Yeah, come watch this movie, man.
And when can people like start like actually like viewing the film? Are you gonna eventually like put it on streaming
Yeah,
or?
probably by September of this year. It's gonna be just I'll just have it online.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let me know. Send
Yeah,
me the
because
link and then I can put it in the description.
okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I can always edit the video too. Like if I drop it before then, and if you know drop it afterwards, I can go back and edit the description. That'd be cool.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
For sure. Well, thank you so much again. For taking the time to like get to know you and talk about your film.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. If you haven't already, like, go ahead and follow Manny. I have his IG on here, my IG as well, and follow Nightmare on Sedgwick Avenue on YouTube. Subscribe at 7 Octoberz. Everything's under that name. And yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in.